Today's video is going to be very interesting. In this video we are going to explain Joker movie. So if friends, start the video without wasting time. Then put your favorite headphones in your ears, then start today's video. Who is doing his clown makeup? There is a news going on TV in the background in which the deteriorating conditions of the city are being discussed over inflation as well as the bad hands that are happening. But the decision of what will happen in this society is in the hands of the rich, and only because they're near I have so much money that he can distort anything and make his coding right. If something goes wrong against him, then he can just correct it, and if something is right with him, he will tell it and bring it to everyone. They are becoming more and more rich, and the same poor have to struggle a lot in living their lives. Their lives are getting worse day by day from they're on the road to advertise the 8th Music Company. Is the name of everything Masked, which is a musical company aboard is tracking people to buy from there. But only then some devils start harassing the child and they run away with his signboard, which runs after them to take many signboard. But they get far enough away. Then there is a movement that they all run into the street when they go running after them, and then one of the children drags the same signboard over the Joker and kills him. The signboard is broken and the same person who falls after it falls. All the children kill him in a very bad way and also say that it is denied, that there is no courage in it. What will we face? Then later kill him and leave him alone there itself. But from there, when Joe goes to his boss, said that the advertisement he did for that company gets his money. But then his boss gets more angry on him instead of showing his sympathy and his wealth, and that it is said that why should I come and give you money? You have turned the sign body of my company. If you want money from me, then bring back my signboard, and otherwise you will not get the money for this work. However, Arthur wants to tell it that some boys hit him as well as break his signboard, but he is unable to tell because he finds himself self-justified too much on that movement. He does not have confidence in how to answer all the things of the boss. He leaves from there without saying anything. These things, the economy gets hurt a lot, but still he is still a good person. He still has an art of making people laugh. While the next day the Joker he meets her calling Handle and tells her about the boys who killed her and broke her signboard. Randall asks him to keep the gun and says to keep it always with him, use it to rob people. But because the gun can only keep you, well, at first the answer refuses to take the origin. But when Randy explains the random, this gun will only work for you by understanding these things, and finally keeps it nearby, and from there, Arthur walks towards his house. When he is sitting in a bus, there is a child in front of him. Then he makes something different to make that child laugh. But then his mother says to Akshar that don't bother my child. The answer says that I was trying to laugh off the bus, but was very angry at him. Then you would say that you don't understand this. 8th break goes and starts laughing loudly, staring at all the people in the bus. And then an answer is taken out of his pocket and it is written that he has a problem with me whenever something bad happens, whenever I am in an environment in which I am not able to shield myself. Then my laughter for the automatic does not seem to be discounted. Please do not mind this. Whenever in your head gets very angry, its laughter increases even more. That he also tried to suppress anger with damage. It was due to a recent childhood accident. That is why he takes help from the social service to cure himself. He goes there and talks to psychiatry there. Then asks psychiatrist if you take your flag returns. Then there he gives her his general. Then she asks him, what do you write in this selfishness, and does not answer anything about it. And when she sees psychiatry opening her general, it is written inside it, which is in the son do me more central life. This means that my death should not be as bad as I have cut my life. As well as it means to the psychiatrist that why do not you increase my medicines? You would say by cycle that you would have been separated with already different type taking medicines. I do not think that these medicines need to increase milk. And after hearing this, they go out and start going towards their house. Towards our house, we also get to know that before entering her house every day, she checks the letter box of her house. She shows that today no letter has come from her, and who reaches home, she has to see her mother, whose name is Penny, asks Black Penis what today there is a letter in the letter box. Thomas says on his behalf that no letter has come even today, and 13 months Thomas Vineet Gautam worked for 30 years at his house, the richest man in the city, and he feels like it is that if Thomas Bean knew about our condition that we would definitely help us to stay in the same situation, as well. He was always worried about the fact that Artie and her son are too lean to watch 2 TVs. Sid goes in. A show is coming in. Something happens to it. Murray Franklin is a very big fan of 8th More. He does not miss any of his shows, and Sir understands that I have his life inspiration and what he has done till date to did what he has found till date. He has got everything from his inspiration, and this is the reason that on February 8th, he accepts an ideal now because the arter has no money and the boss told him that when do not come near the signboard, I will not give you money. That is why the person starts walking on the fruit, and when he arrives at his house, he finds a girl in the lift who is already married. Then he gets enthralled by seeing her. When he arrives at his house, his mother asks him for sure if any of his letters have come, and he says there. Why would that rich man care for us, but he wore them is that he will definitely help us as a good person. The next day we are shown that you two are going out of your house and your brother starts following him. You have been attracted to these things, keeping in mind these things and even sleeping at night. To meet she comes to him and tells him that today you were following me. Then the answer says yes, I was doing you. But whatever is not angry with this thing. Rather it turns upside down and it impresses them. Of the distance inside the center also starts to decrease. The same shift takes place on the next day, where he goes to a hospital and he tries to remove the children with his unorganized dance, but when bouncing dance. To make all of them laugh, he accidentally falls the gun from his pocket, and as all the children and all the nurses there get nervous on seeing the origin, and for this reason, even today, he was removed from his job. Although Anshar tries to convince his boss that he was a toy for dirty people, he makes me laugh at all those children, but he does not listen to any of the boss and tells him to go from there, but he tries to convince her again and again that this is not a very big mistake. It was just an only rock. Then his boss tells him that Randall has told me everything. But while it was not so that I had strangled myself, so that when he came to know about this and you're swift, you feel very bad. He seems to think that he lied to Randall. He did not support him. He gets up and sits inside the train to come back to his house. When sitting inside the train, there is also a girl sitting there. 3 employees also stand in that train who used to work in Praveen's company. However, this movement has no meaning. He is just lost in his world. He is so sad that he starts laughing at the automatic lead. If his illness comes in front of the automatic laughter which he had created. Loudly they start laughing. They think that they beat us up with beatings and beat them up so much that they start bleeding from their mouths, and they both say something or something, but they were angry at this state. It was that if we were teasing the girl, then that we were laughing at her. So she started beating him up a lot, and then she got very angry, and she took out her tacks and shoots the 3 of them. Gives, and when he feels that he has killed all 3, he is not decent to stay here. He runs away and talks and reaches a washroom, but immediately he sees himself in the glass and dances. He should have regretted that he has just murdered 3 people, but he was happy to do so, all of which shows that I do not scare a person that much. Fear is over. Let it be known that now you are watching a news sitting on TV. Inside that news, Thomas is telling all the other people that the 3 people and what were the good people for OBC in the train were good people whose be a bad death. She goes and tells that the person who killed the 3 of them was in a clown costume, but surprisingly, instead of the death of all 3, people are feeling pity on that clown. People are thinking that the Joker that he did it well. After this, Arthur Rotney goes to meet psychiatrist then you, and she tells me that today we have a dead body meeting. Now that we have cut our share in the government, we do not have such a budget that we like you the people to help them, and these things make already broken and broken more. In the next 3, it is shown that the economic stand-up comedian is performing in front of some people. but only then seeing a lot of people in front of him that feels a little nervous, and this nervousness leads him to his laughter and starts laughing loudly in front of all the people present there, which is why his entire performance is about to give him. From her death she asks to post a letter, which if it is for the machine, but before posting it, she opens it and reads it, in which it is written that my son needs help and from these things financially on a lot of time is fat. That is why he goes to his mother and asks them, "Why did you think of writing such a letter to Thomas Bank? Why did you ask for help from a person who considers us as worms?" On his mother says that no son is not like this. Our situation was very good at first. There was a time when I used to love a lot, but the society knows the poor, Samir and I are poor. So on the relationship between the two of us enough, this has a bad effect. That is why Thomas signed a letter to me in which he wrote that no one should have any relation with you later today, and that we should understand these things in this condition and go to the house of Thomas Penn today, decide where he meets his son, Bruffin, who is coming to us. After getting the child in front of him, his old image also comes inside his heart and tries to make him laugh because he is a clown at heart. But the same woman cares for his butler's name. Alfred comes there and takes him from there and says that he should not talk to unknown people, but only then tells the 8-barrel belly that he is not an unknown person but his mother. Flight has worked at your house for 30 years, but Alfred does not believe his words and asks him to leave. And how is it that if you do not leave here, I will call the police here? But then the answer says I have to meet Thomas too. I want to meet him. I refuse tomorrow. He says that he does not meet anyone. The heart says that I know the truth. I know that I would have been a fan long before Thomas was born. And both used to live together, and I also know that I am not sitting on anyone else but Thomas Wynne. But Alfred refuses to say that your mother was a lunatic and she told you a lie. He has created a concoction in which he is telling that he is your real father, but all this is a lie. Things is perfect, and after hearing these things, he leaves his house and arrives at his house. He finds out that Mullen is right at his house, and they all start taking his mother to the hospital. Basically the mother means that her flight is stopped. That is why they all hospitalize her, seeing her mother in this condition, and Sir is very sad. But at the same movement 2 policemen come there and start talking from outside that you know something about the Joker who killed 3 people inside the train accident. Do you know anything about him? Thayer tries to become a human back. He says that I don't know anything about this, and you also know that the question he is doing to me right now is the same question he did to my mother. And due to these questions, his mother had an attack, after which Artie comes to her mother and sits back and is also present, and both of them start talking among themselves. But on the same moment that is coming on TV to Moore, Franklin is hosting and then shows me a clip with no one else inside who ever tried to be a stand-up comedian. But instead of admiring his courage, Moore tells that there are people who do not know how to do comedy, and he makes fun of it and tells how the people laugh at it, and when they are watching all these things, then they come to know that the person whom they considered idyllic is laughing at him today, making fun of his illness and keeping it in front of people. On the other hand, we are shown the situation in the city where he has become very bad. Many people consider themselves to be clowns and wear clown masks and move around in the city movement, but we come to know that now a wall has been erected in the middle of the people, at one time where the richest people of this place are present, and there is another wall where the poorest people of this city are the richest who can get whatever they want. But the poor have to cross their limits to get what they want, and all these things are standing in tears, but they are not surprised but upside down and happy because they are inspired by the clown. There were some riots taking place in the city, which was happening by the poor who had been greatly inspired by the Joker, after which a theater in Gotham City is shown where Charlie Chaplin's movie The Release. It happens that the richest people of Gotham City reached there to watch that movie, but some people outside were wearing clown meat and opposing the rich people because the poor have food to recognize and the rich people have their own hobbies and to complete the fun. All the people watching expensive movies are screaming loudly, "I am Chowk. I am a Joker," and he is happy to see all these things, and it seems that now he of all people there is a hero. But then the police also reach there and try to remove those poor people and all those miscreants from there, and that is why all those people are disturbed by the chance of such a thing, and sir, inside the theater he sneaks in so that he can talk to the machine there. By 8 o'clock, he meets his father Thomas Penn. Rabbi applicant says to his father, "I am your son, I am yours," who is born on the first flight, but from this point Soaswin refuses and kicks a punch from him, to which blood starts coming out of his nose. He says that I do not know how to get away from here, but go so much that he gets depressed on his own till he closes it in a fridge for punishment. But after some time he gets a call from the colony police who were doing their inquiries on the train accident, and they would say that we want to talk to you. From I want to inquire about the accident on that train, but then he comes to know that I have been given a super invite by Frankly to him. The clip that he showed on the show was liked by people, and when this thing happened and Sir realizes that Murray has called him, then he decides to go to her show. From there, Arthur Radica reaches the Spice and reaches the reception there and asks for her mother's file, but the man standing there gives her that file. This is the reason why the strike secretly steals this file and starts running away from there. When you sir open the file and start reading it, then he and again breaks because some such things were written inside the file. In that file, it is written that Artie was a black boyfriend whose relationship was from many years before that, and that boyfriend also used to bother his son Yaki Artie very much. Due to this, on the head of 8 heads injury she came in today, who is facing all these things. She was all the same pinch of Bhima. To share these things, to share his heartache, he goes to Choti, but here I came to know there was a lot of attachment with him. He was never his girlfriend or not, whoever he was, because of meeting everyone. He was the creator of the mind. The things that were found in the file are very annoying because he like this. It seems that his mother hid him the truth. These things increase the anger even more in the mind up to 8. So he goes straight to the hospital and kills his mother, after which 8 trillion is ready in the makeup of his clown. Go is that he has to go to Murray Franklin's show, but then he gets a picture of his mother, because he reverses this picture. It is written on the back of it that I like your smile so much that it is written we Ashwin wore the play until one got clear by the 8th that it was definitely a moment when Thomas Mine loved my mother's first flight. They used to live together. But only then there was the 8th friend, i.e. Randall there, but comes and starts talking to him. He says that the 3 murders that took place inside the city, the marriage of your mother was a very bad thing, but mourns these things. But until then 8 o'clock, by the time he has lost his state of mind and he starts getting very angry on his words. It seems that these people have come to grind me again. People have come to offer me these things that after all I have condition. Why did these things and you feel very bad, and he murdered the final Randall. And after this, the scene of this movie, which is the best scene of this movie, is where and on which full gate up I now get ready to go to Franklin's show and go out happiness. He is so happy that he throws his dance through that scene. After seeing we can find out to what extent a human being can cross his mindset. But only then the 2 policemen come there who wanted to interrogate him in case of a team accident. Seems and reaches the metro station, but only then they come to know that there are many people who are wearing the mask of same to be clowns. They are having difficulty in identifying the man and taking advantage of this. Many run away from there and arrive at the show on the 8th of February, and when I come in front of him, he asks if you are also a clown. Are you also engaged in presenting to the rich people where one of the rooms request does, and he says that when you interview me in front of people, then I too should interview me, and then it is the turn when Maury as well means people are there. There is a lot of audience applause for both of them. Doing happens, and then there, Maury asks the strike, what is your region after coming to this Joker's gate up, and tells that it has been done to make my people laugh because my heart was always full of joy and me happiness it feels good to share. But at the same time he also tells that 3 people of the Enterprise were killed in the train accident. All 3 of them must have been killed by them, after which they often tell them a truth. That if poor, if no man will talk about him, brother, even if the rich brother gets hurt even a little, then everyone starts praying to God for him. Everyone thinks about them. And will this society be fine at last? More it has been cheap. There is no emotion left in it. For those who want to live their life here, no one wants to think about everyone else and only for their own benefit. And cast today, which brought me to the show. Oh, you also have the benefit behind this because the Outpost TRP was increasing very much, and that is why I am friendly to refuse you to earn more money. He denies that this is not the case, but only then you get angry as he shoots him as well. The public there is shocked by this. He starts getting up from there and hates everywhere, and this is why the police fall behind him. Take Lee and starts to sit in his car. But some people who are supporting the Joker are sitting inside an ambulance and driving him at a high speed. A moment comes when they hit the police car with their ambulance. Because of which the Joker was freed and stood on the prize. His nose starts bleeding much more than the mouth. But the blood starts copying. But this blood makes him his joy, his smile, and this is the real face of the ultimate educator. That is the face in which truth, pain and love are hidden inside, which has been completely crushed by this world. And this is the movement when a person struggling with his life is no longer a people, he has become a hero who needed him. Those people who did not consider themselves as anything till today, had stopped a leader and came before him. That is why they are called heroes of all of them. Brothers are shown about Thomas Penn and his the 22nd of March mean who is leaving from there with his daughter Bruce Mine. But then a masked man who comes over there and kills them both with a gun. Later I will be everyone. And she is shown in front of a psychiatrist. But even then, and if she does not laugh in front of her, then she asked the psychiatrist the reason for her laughing. She would ask what you are laughing at, but she says that you will not understand this. Together the Joker's blood-soaked feet are shown that go out of the album Every Action. In the meantime, we can understand that the Joker has now killed that psychotic in this movie along with it here only, but with this movie, we can understand that what happens to a good person, how does it take the form of evil, which happens to be Mahakal. It is so terrible that no one can stand before it any longer. Human, I am scared so much that his scare finale ends at the heart. Friends, if you like this video, then like, share and subscribe our channel, so that don't miss notification of next video. Thanks for watching.